Have you ever tried to save the preservation of history by tackling a man off a cliff and simultaneously save the life of a small child? Well, that's why Robin's my favorite character. Anyways, hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1148, Ranja. Which, let me tell you, I'm really worried about the other young Elbaphian child that I mentioned liking in the last chapter, because if she's in danger, then I guess he's going to be in danger too soon. Oh, poor Oimo. Anyways, so, art for this week starts off with a continuation of Yamato's journey across Wano. The next task that Yamato has on this list of side quests that we're doing is, let's see, I have it written down here, heading to Hakumai region to give Kawamatsu a hat made by Otama. I mean, yeah, that's kind of how that's usually how a campaign goes. We did it. We finished the main quest. We saved all the girls and the carpenter, and we stopped Who's Who from taking over a region, and now you need a new plot hook to get the players moving again. Only this time, the player who is playing as Yamato has been so convinced by the DM that this is such a great campaign that they've invited two of their friends to come along. And those friends are going to play as two of the former enemies that have now become friends. As yes, Ulti and Page 1 will be joining Yamato as the first two of what I will assume to be the new Red Scabbards. Whether it's 9 like Odin had, or maybe 8 because one of them was a traitor. But we have our first two vassals of our new Odin. I'm interested to see if in the card game, maybe eventually we'll get a Yamato leader with Ulti and Page 1 and whoever else joins this ragtag group as maybe like either the new Scabbards, or they'll be given the same title as Kinemon and the others, because then that would be some interesting synergy. But you're not here to listen to the card game. I always get distracted on that. New set just came out, EB2. Oh, actually that reminds me, I gotta change out something. I'll be right back. There we go. The new EB2 pack came out, and I also got a tin, one of the 2-pack tins for set 10. It's got Gold Roger on it. I also got the Luffy one, but, you know, I've kind of got a lot of other Luffy things going on, so, you know, the variety is the spice of life, as they say. But anyways, let's get into the actual chapter itself. So the chapter starts off with little Ranja being torn away from the rest of the group via one of Gunko's arrows, and takes it in stride. I told you I really like the optimism in this one, because she's kind of just like, oh man, this'll be fine, guys. We're gonna be walking. We're just following this arrow. It's a lovely day out. Oh, guess I'm going this way now. Well, isn't that crazy? And of course, everyone else is worried. They're like, Ranja, that you're gonna walk off the branch, and she's like, don't worry, guys. It'll be fine. It's just an arrow. We're just going off a cliff. Oh, I don't know how much I like this. And that's when Sommers obviously calls out and says, hey, okay, so we have our first victim ready. And I want to let you guys know, I'm going to give you till I'm done counting down. I'm going to start from 30. If I don't hear Yorl give the order to burn down the school and burn down the library, I'm going to throw this kid off a tree. Because that's simple as that. This causes a lot of discourse among the giants. Obviously, the life of one child is extremely important. Anyone's life is extremely important. But also, the preservation of, you know, history and culture and the world as a whole is also important. If any of you watch Star Trek, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, but it's a lot easier when the few has lived a full life. It's a lot easier when the few are okay with this. It's a lot easier if it's a noble sacrifice rather than a trade. But Sommers and his ilk see normal people as coins, fodder, cannonballs. They're not anything important to them. Nami even berates him for, you know, sacrificing a child, and his laugh, he laughs at Nami, and his laugh is lame. I'm not gonna lie. It's gee ha 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 ha. Hang on, let me double check. Just in case it's cooler than I'm giving it credit for. No, that's his laugh. It's literally just a watered down Blackbeard laugh. Instead of zeh ha ha, where it like has some like heft to it, his laugh is just gee hee 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 hee. I'm going to guess that the God's Knights aren't going to have some tragic backstories. I mean, maybe some of them will. I'm thinking Gunko's probably going to. But Sommers, Killingham, Shamrock, these guys are just bad. They're just evil. But at least Killingham has that like narcolepsy thing, which is kind of funny. Sommers is just terrible. I just don't like him. Even his laugh is lame. Like there's nothing redeemable about this guy. I wish someone would just throw him off a cliff. So, as Sommers is telling the Giants to do this, he tells them very specifically, when you burn down this school, when you burn down that library, you are not to take a single book out. No books are allowed to leave and be preserved, because this isn't just about the symbolism of burning down your library. This is about destroying your culture. I want you to have no history, so that all of your history is just serving us. Guess who that upsets? Before he even has a moment to finish his sentence, hands just sprout from all over his body, and Robin just snaps him like a twig. That's very satisfying. One of my favorite members of the Straw Hat crew, snapping my current least favorite member of the God's Knights in half. Now, he's immortal. He does like come back from it, and he's like, oh, well, that hurt. Well, who was the sassy individual to do that to me? The great Sommers. And before he can finish that thought, Robin comes out of the woodwork, and he's like, wait a second. I know you. You're from O'Hara. You're Nico and she snaps him in half again. So as he's coming back from being snapped in half again, Robin says, I know you're immortal, and I really don't have time to try and figure out how this works. And she tackles him. Robin tackles him. So, in addition to being absolutely awful, to having a very, very mean devil fruit power, his laugh being incredibly lame, and I just don't like him, he also gets tackled by Robin. So, this man is my number one enemy right now. I do not like this guy. As he is falling off the tree with Robin, he even mocks her plan. He says, oh, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me away from the children because you believe my devil fruit might have some kind of range to it. Well, that's a shame for you, Nico Robin, because I can just do this. And he sprouts out a whole bunch of needles from his body, a bunch of thorns as he stabs into Robin. Pretty proud of himself, too. He's got that smirk on his face, and it all just fades away. Literally, Robin fades away because this is a Robin clone, and he's just kind of like, oh, she tricked me! Me! Clearly the smartest individual in the room. So as he's falling, hopefully to his death, Robin is untying, or trying to untie, the rest of the crew. Unfortunately, Gunko's arrows seem to be knife-proof, so the only way we're going to be able to untie the rest of the crew is by doing something about Gunko. I would also like to point out at this time that Brooke is actually tied up a lot more than the rest of the crew, so either he is bandaged or Gunko tied him up extra hard for his insolence. Either way, it's a good thing Brooke doesn't need to breathe, because I'm sure those things are pretty dang tight. Unfortunately, the broadcast continues as Sommers has the ability to shoot a vine from himself, which makes sense. He stabs it into the vine of the tree, and he's just kind of dangling there like the world's ugliest pendulum, as he's saying, okay, Giants, as I pull myself up, I'm going to keep counting down. I think I'm at, 17? Am I at 7? Yeah, 17, 16, 15, as poor little Ranja is getting closer and closer to the edge. But, in a surprising twist, Ranja has something to say. You see, in order to add to the hype of the terror, he wanted her patched into this conversation, Sommers. He wanted Ranja to be like, oh, help me, or please burn down the school, or save me, Daddy, something like that, something to pull at the heartstrings. But unfortunately for him, Ranja is a very brave little optimist, as she tells them, this school is important to me. My friends are here, I've learned a lot of good things, and I think it's a good thing for the world to have school. More importantly than that, she learned from her teachers from the school that she went to that you shouldn't do things that hurt other people. You shouldn't do things that make life harder for others. And she believes that the school makes lives better, makes lives easier. And if me jumping off of a cliff will help save the school, then I think it's okay. And she even goes on to say, I'll be fine. I'm a very lucky girl. I'll be okay. Please don't burn down the school just for my sake. That's a very brave thing for a child to say. Which, I'm going to guess Ranja's probably like 23, 25 years old. Because we know Colin is 20, and that's a child for giants. It's very interesting to see the emotional maturity of a child, but have lived as many years as an adult. I mean, Colin's only like a little under 10 years older or younger than me, which is crazy to think about because he is like a 7-year-old boy. But when you live as long as giants do, it's very fascinating. But anyways, these brave words of Ranja unfortunately fall on deaf ears as the giants in their conflict have already reached a decision. Yorl calls out to Ange to burn the school down. Which is bad. Ange agrees, and Ange is, I assume, going to start the process under Killingham's supervision. Things are looking bleak. This is not looking good. And Sommers has made it back up. Great. Wonderful. Because he finished his countdown. He's like 3, 2, 1. And that's when Jarl says, okay, do it. Burn the school down. Save the kid. It's fine. We'll be fine. So Sommers says, good job. Glad you see things my way. Now, I'm going to take my vine here. And I'm going to go over to that Straw Hat crew. And I'm going to kill that. As his arm gets sliced off by an attack. And his arm falls to the ground, and Sommers kind of looks at it, and he's like, oh, that's a shame. My arm fell off. I'm, immortal, so who cares? So, anyways, okay, arm, come back. His arm didn't come back. And he's sitting there like, hey, why is that not regenerating? And he hears from behind him, oh, it's been a long time, Sommers. And Sommers turns around, who dares call me Sommers without calling me Saint? And he gets this terrified look on his face as a very angry Scopper Gaban is coming towards him. And he goes, Scopper Gaban! Before he can finish that sentence, he is slashed in the chest by a very angry Scopper Gaban. So, Sommers might die soon, which is great. I absolutely love that. I would love to see Robin and Gaban versus Sommers and Gunko, I assume. It's going to be interesting to see Gunko's power against Robin's, because if her arrows force you to go in a specific direction, but Robin can just sprout new limbs, who's in charge here? Because Gunko, unless she has the reaction time to keep up with the arms that appear, it's hard to say here. But it looks like it's going to be Sommers versus Gaban, Robin versus Gunko. Maybe Chopper playing support for either one, or Chopper breaking the rest of the crew out of the arrows. However it goes down, one thing's for sure, those two are not affecting Gaban. Because his power, his hockey, is strong enough to negate the regeneration. And this seems like, oh man, hockey's so overpowered. That's literally the point. Hockey is the embodiment of your willpower. The whole point of One Piece is the power of the human spirit. The ability to will what you want into existence and claim what you desire. I'm looking forward to seeing this, mostly because Gunko seems like she has a chance of a redemption arc. Killingham is nice and safe right now. I kind of like him. I'm really hoping he's not as bad of a guy as he looks. And Sommers is going to die. I'm calling it now. That's on my wish list. I'm going to send it to Oda. Please end Sommers. But other than that, let me know in the comments below what you want to happen to Sommers horribly. Me, myself, it's just for him to end. That's it. I don't really care how it happens. But thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.